Okay, so it's more than 9:05. I have to start also the class now. Today is the last class for A7, sorry. Okay, I think we got to see all the details. I'm going to check. I don't remember very well because I have three A7s. All right, and I'm going to verify that. I'm going to remember. But it's good, right? Yesterday I told you about that being the last class, and you got to finish everything. You're just finishing the final exam, and that's great. All right, that's very good. And again, you are keeping a very good score in everything. So you're doing a great job in that. All right, very well done. We are going to finish today with this course. You finish with the final exam. And right on Friday, we start our first class of 8-8. That's the next model. Here would be model B. And one more time, we have 4 more assignments. We have the 3 quizzes and we have the final exam. Okay, that's again important to consider it, to take into account. Now, again, just as always, I want to verify that I'm in the right place. Yes. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to verify if we got to see what we had to. Yes, we are just missing one detail. If you join today, we're going to practice in a general way the last elements that I covered on Monday, so that I'm sure that you got them. Okay, tag questions, for instance, and adjectives and adverbs. It's very important to understand those elements. It's again an important element to know the difference between those two and to know how to apply them in certain structures. But now, as you're here, I'm going to cover what I believe is the last one and a very short lesson, that is articles, that I believe I didn't cover with you. So let me do it. All right, because I believe that I covered this, adjectives and adverbs, this, tag questions. So this one, and I'll also give a general review of everything. And with that, again, we are done. But if you join again, we're going to practice, which is going to be even more important. Now, let's start. Again, I covered this one. I believe it was not with you because I remember the tag questions, but that's it. So, articles, this more of a new lesson, right? More than anything, it's just a very basic review because it has to be clear, right? There are some details that people don't take into account still in advanced courses. So it's important to remember the rules of the next word to a or an, and the main elements that we use along with the. All right, this is going to be again a very simple lesson that we're going to finish now. And then we're going to practice, or actually I'm going to go directly to the general review, asking you some questions and trying to practice some details. All right, so you are here now with me. Now I'm going to give you again that explanation briefly to start. Okay, so how are you then? It's a good evening. Is everything okay? Yeah, give me a second, please. I think my volume, no, I think your microphone or the volume of your microphone is very low. Then I cannot hear you very well. It's kind of very, very low, the volume.
My connection.
Yeah, I don't know why I hear you very low because I hear you well. I can listen to what you're saying, but the volume, I hear the volume very low. I don't know why.
Now?
Yes, it's better. It's way better. I hear you better now. Okay, so how are you? Is everything okay, Danitza? Let me know, please.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm like 5 minutes late. Sorry.
Don't worry, you're here and that's a good thing, all right? Because we need to see some important details. This is the last class for this course, and it's really important for you to be here. So you're here, and that's again the most important thing. Okay, so Lenita, first I want to know if you were able to see the class or not yet about the Monday's class, or if you have questions, at least if you have questions about those last contents, because that day, today I'm finishing with this. That is a very simple lesson. I have to finish this in 5 minutes. We don't have to spend time here, but today I want to give a general review, a very brief and quick review of everything, asking you questions to be sure that everything is clear. But before going to that point, Danita, once again, I don't know if you, again, if you didn't watch the class, but if you know these elements, I don't know if you have questions about adjectives and adverbs or about tag questions. Let me know, please, because I think you completed everything in, well, on Pearson, so you got to see that. Let me know, please, any doubts or questions that you might have.
Well, about the last class, I when I didn't have enough time to see the class of review the content of adjectives and tag questions. I suppose those were the I don't know the PowerPoints about talk, but I have I think enough knowledge, but sorry, I couldn't um, make enough time to see the last class.
All right. Yes, about that, no problem, right? When you have the time, you're going to watch it. But then about working on that on Pearson, because I saw that you covered every assignment on Pearson, and that's great. So on Pearson also you see these elements. You see adjectives, adverbs, tag questions. So did you have any problems with those specific details on Pearson, or it was, I don't know, it was not a problem for you to do it?
I mean, no, the concepts are clear in my head, but a few details like before Earth, for example, or something like that, or the Earth, or I mean, when you have two vowels, so you need to use and I already know that we just specifically, but I just can I say this? Um, yeah. Uh, I mean the contact, so I put the wrong answer there, but I know why. So I think that's good.
Okay, okay, good. As long as again as you know, that's great. These are basic contents, right? We mentioned that some of them are very basic, but it's important that every little detail about it is correct. So then if that's good, great. This is the only presentation left, Danita. Again, it should be 5 minutes or less. Let's cover this quickly. I'm going to ask you some questions because actually more than covering the lessons, I'm going to ask you questions about it, and then we work on a general review, and that's going to be going to Pearson, seeing the contents one by one. I mean the units that we covered in the grammar part, unit by unit, and asking you again questions about it. First, if you have questions yourself, and then I'm going to ask you questions or ask you to give me examples to verify that everything is clear. All right.
Okay.
So
Sure.
all right, good. So first, about this one, what can you tell me about these articles? You were telling me some details, but now let's expand more, please, Danitza. What do you know and what can you tell me about and the, those articles?
Well, articles are very useful when you try to make a connection with a specific noun, could be. I don't know if noun is correct, but um, those three have different connotations. For example, and I think those are more for generic purposes. And that is when you want to give or emphasize or need to mention or give some relevant importance, or the context is okay, demand the use of that.
Okay,
That's
yes. Yes, it's good. And you said noun, it's good noun. You use articles with nouns. It has to be with nouns. So it's perfect. An and an are going to be more generic, as you said, right? More general. They are not particular, but the is sometimes unique. And yes, the context is very related to the. All right, so good. Again, we have then specific or unspecific ideas that are going to be used with definite articles. I mean, we only have one, the, and the indefinite articles that are or an, right? We know this, you mentioned this, for one particular thing, right? And it's mainly something that we referred to in a context, as in this example, right? Let's read only this question, please, Danitza, only what's in quotation marks.
mm, are you going to the party this weekend?
Great. So when do you ask Danitza? Again, this is pretty simple, but I just need to cover this and I need to confirm that everything is clear. When do you ask, are you going to the party this weekend? And when do you ask, are you going to a party or a party this weekend? So what's the difference between those two questions?
I think the party you are talking about a specific party, and a party is any party, something like that.
Exactly, right? Basic as that. Something is specific, the other one is unspecific. Here we know that we use this with plural, singular, it means countable nouns and uncountable nouns, right? Again, that is clear, I believe. Now, here, this is very important. For example, I'm going to tell you some words and you're going to tell me if you use a or an. All right. For example, if the word Danitza is, I'm going to write it in the chat. All right. So that you also practice that with how you pronounce it. That's the word. It's in the chat. Which one do you use? A or N?
And with and
All right. Let's respond that, please. Let's write that in the chat. We're going to verify in a moment.
oh yeah, something like yeah, I don't know, no,
We're going to see in a second, right? What about this? If you say a UN, that's an acronym, right? UN, let's say UN ambassador, UN ambassador. But I'm not going to write the whole idea. I'm just going to write UN ambassador, right? So what do you place before that word?
wait, oh, uh, wait, I think, wait, I'm sorry, chun, chun, chun.
All right. And one last one is going to be LCD screen. Okay, what do you place before that one? All right. So let's verify. All right, we're going to check with this one and with the next part. We know the rule, right? That's going to be there so that you can verify what you did. Indefinite articles can be placed right with a or n if the word begins with a consonant or with a vowel after this article, right? But more than the writing, again, we need to pay attention to one important element that I believe that you know, right? Not here, over here, that is the sound. right? We need to pay attention to the sound of the next word. For honor, right, we don't spell the H, it's only going to be honor. So as you said, yes, we say an honor, right? It was an honor, it's an honor. So an honor in that case. But we also have to apply that in the opposite way. If the sound of the next word has a consonant sound, remember the vowels are only going to be, right, the five that we got. They change in pronunciation, but those are the five. Y, the letter Y is a consonant, all right? It is the sound of a consonant. That's why we have these elements over here that shows us what we have to use with each one, sorry. And that's why we need to be careful. So let's read these examples, please, Danitza.
Mm. An honest man, a United States senator, a UK company, a university, a LCD screen, and an HR department.
Great. All right. So thank you very much. Now here you can see that in the last two, I believe that you wrote, right? An UN and a LCD. That's going to be incorrect. The two of them,
Mm.
right? We cannot say an UN because if you realize an U, that's creating that, all right, conflict that we want to avoid. We say a United States senator, a UK company, a university, right? And university, it's going to be a mistake. And UK company, it's also going to be a mistake, and so on. And it happens,
Oh, got it.
right? And it happens the same with LCD and H because it has a vowel sound. L, right? We pronounce the L not like L, it's going to be L. So it's the E, which is a vowel. So that's why we say an LCD screen, an HR department. All right. So that's very important to take into account. I think you got it, but let me know, please, perhaps about the last one. Do you have any questions about these exceptions? Again, and more than exceptions, they are showing that we have to pay attention more than to the word that is next to it, right? In what we see, what we hear, right? The sound of the next word. So what do you say? Any questions or comments about it?
No, it's clear.
All right. And the last one,
Oh,
this is something extra. Tell me, Danita.
um, I was just copying the last an
Oh, yes.
air furniture. So, HR department. Yeah. Okay. That's
All right. So this one, we don't need to cover this because it's just the combination of article and adjective and noun. We know that combination here because this is something not new perhaps, but this is something specific, something that we have to know. And in this case, please, I'm going to ask you to read this information. That is all right. So let's read this slide, please. This is when we use the.
oh, okay. Rivers, mountain ranges, seas, oceans, and geographic areas are used the, for example, the Thames, the Alps, the Atlantic, the Middle East. Unique things have the, for example, have the sun, the moon, musical instruments use the she plays the piano. The sports don't have an article. He plays football.
Okay, that's one
Mm,
part. So those are things that we use with the. We have more. Let's keep reading here, please. Sometimes they are saying when we don't use it. Let's keep reading, please.
okay. Illnesses don't have an article. He's got appendicitis. Though we say a cold and a headache, headache, I don't know, headache. Jobs use a, use a. I'm a teacher. countries we don't use I don't know. Because if a country is singular, he lives in England, but if a country's name has a plural meaning, we use the People's Republic of China, the Netherlands, the United States of America. Continent, towns, and streets don't have an article. Africa, New York, Church Street.
All right, thank you very much. Here you have more elements, right? When to use, when not to use it. But let's repeat these two words, please. The first one is going to be like appendicitis, and the second one is like headache. Let's read those two, please. Appendicitis and headache.
He got appendicitis.
Appendicitis, and headache, or a headache.
A headache.
Headache,
Como,
exactly.
como gato,
Exactly.
¿no? Como...
Yes, close to a G, close to that G, because you have stomach ache, headache, what else? No, it's sore throat. That's a little bit different, right? But when you have this ACHE at the end, is like at the end. All right, there you go. And we have just one more to go. That is this one. And with this, we finish the presentation. And it's going to be, the class is going to be not that hard or that heavy. And it's because the review is going to be just interaction between, all right, the two of us, being sure that the contents are clear. But let's finish in reading this first, please.
Okay. Theaters, cinemas, and hotels have the the Odeon, the Almira, the Hilton. Abbreviations use the UN, the USA, the IMF. We use the before classes of people, the rich, the poor, the British.
Okay, so those are the three last categories with which, in this case, we use the. So again, I'm not going to evaluate this. This is just for you to know that you can apply, but it's important to remember some of these elements. This first one perhaps is very important, but it's also obvious because sometimes even in the name, right, it is there, the. So you just need to use the complete name, right? And you're going to do okay. This is what you mentioned, something unique, particular. This is a rule that we have to use. Remember, the piano, the guitar, always with musical instruments, no sports, right? Countries that are plural, right? The People's Republic of China, the United States of America, and then you have again some public places, which again they are obviously going to have that in the name itself. So we just need to use the complete name. Of course, abbreviations or these what we call acronyms, and classes of people. That it's kind of not that common, but it's also, I believe, understandable. So I don't know if you have questions, because with that, we are finishing the lesson. Because again, this was just a basic lesson to review and to refresh mainly. With this, we're finishing everything, and we are now going to go to the short review to see if the contents are clear in a general way. But let me know if you have any questions first, please.
I remember the use of the. You can say the or the, like black, like como with an a, the or the. There is a difference, right? I don't know if there's a rule or something like that.
Yes, actually, it's not here, but it's a good idea that you mentioned. It's not mentioned here because it's not changing the meaning or the possibilities as with a or n, right? Because it changes. But here the meaning is the same, or sorry, not the meaning. The rule is the same as with a or n, the next word. If the next word starts with a vowel, actually you say the, all right? The apple, all right? The advertisement. So the it's going to be the. But if the next word starts with a consonant, it's going to be the, right? The teacher, the place, right? But no, every time if the next word is a vowel and starts with also one I or E that it makes that sound, it's going
Mhm.
to conflict, right? You don't say the institute, right? Or you say the institute, the
Um,
institute, right? But if it's a vowel that doesn't conflict with the, you say the. Okay, so the two possibilities are the and the. The for consonants, the for vowels, except for the vowels that can sound or imitate the E sound that is going to create a conflict. That's the only set of rules that you need to know over there, Danitza. I don't know if you have questions about
no, it's clear.
that. Okay,
It sounds better.
good, great. So remember, right, you have those two possibilities, the and the. So let's go to the next part, which is going to be just our review that is here.
Oh yes, I have. I couldn't find um, the the quizzes for the 4 lesson.
Yes, no, remember for the fourth lesson, we don't have a quiz. We
Oh, okay.
directly have the final exam. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, that's the only thing that you're missing, right? Everything else is complete, and that's great. Okay, you did a great job. A really great job because we still have today and tomorrow perhaps to finish. So you can take today and tomorrow's time just to focus on the final exam. And again, if you worked in that way, in the way I saw that you worked in the quizzes and the assignments in general, you're going to do pretty good. All right. The final test is not going to be complex or complicated, but yes, before that, it's a good idea that you refresh your mind. And actually, this is going to be a good practice with you, or what we're going to do now, at least in the grammar part, because I'm going to mention all the elements and I'm going to ask you some questions or ask you some examples to remember those structures. So after this class, if you want, you can practice or study a little bit more and then you take the final. All right. But again, don't worry. If you got to work on that way with assignments and the quizzes, it's going to follow the same structure. You are now used to working with those type of works that you got over there, right? The multiple choice, drag the word, or fill in the blanks. So if you have that also there, it's going to be pretty simple. Okay, so this review with me and one general study that you can work on later on, that's going to be enough for you to have a good final. Okay, so I don't know if you have any other questions or comments so that we can start now with a short review to finish the class.
Yes, I have a question for the final. Could you refresh my memory? How when is going to be the final or how?
Actually, the final is just the same as the quizzes. You should be able to find it there at the end of everything. The last thing that you have over there, that is the final exam. All right. It's
I think I
also,
already.
yes. Well, let me see.
Yes, oh my
If you did
God,
it,
yes, yes. It took me 10 minutes. I swear.
okay. Let me see because actually you have
Um,
3 out of 4. I don't know if you completed the final or if you completed something else. Let me see. You have the first quiz, you have the second quiz, oh yes, you completed the final, but you didn't complete the third quiz. You're missing the third quiz,
what,
Danitza.
where do I find? No, I think I don't
It,
know.
it, it's there. Check it now. It's important that you tell me this now. Go there and show me or tell me if it's there. All right? It's important that you check that now.
Yes, please, because I think I have I don't know. Uh, this, yes, I made my final in 10 minutes. I'm impressed.
Okay, good. Look, 10
That's
minutes and you did
right.
good.
My score is 7. 7.
All right.
64. I don't know. The worst score
Yeah, you could
ever.
have done it better, right? I'm sure that you could have done it better. But yes, remember, right, when we were taking a look at the elements, I showed you, and it's always going to be that order. And the first three are always going to have to be the first three quizzes that you have, and the only three quizzes. You don't have a fourth one. Remember, instead of the fourth one, you have the final, that is the last element that you get over there. But as you were able to see, the final is just as the quizzes. You got this in 10 minutes, so you just need, all right, extra 10 minutes, let's say 20. So you're going to improve your score a lot. Just be careful, your score is going to improve. Try to have a good quiz, good third quiz. But did you find the quiz, the third quiz? Was it there?
No, please, can you share me my screen?
Yes, yes. All right, let's share your screen now, please.
Mhm. 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 Mm, yes. Let's see. Attempts one. So, mm,
Let's see, are you sharing your screen now? I don't see it yet.
wait. I think my action. Mm, can you see my
Okay, yes,
screen?
I can see it now. So let's go, please. Let's check. I see only the part of Pearson. Okay, now I can see it. So yeah, that's the quiz. That's a 10 reminder. If you see, in the other ones you only say see report, I'm going to mark it for you. But the last one is the
Oh,
third quiz, right?
okay.
That's open. So if you open, you're going to start. Don't open it, right? You have that
Yeah.
left. Okay, that's the one that you're missing.
Mm,
And it's at the end because you already completed all the other quizzes. All right, that's why
mm,
now the third quiz is at the end, because it's the only one that is missing over there. But that's the one. All right, it says
okay.
model A, right? A3. Complete that one. All right, try to do it slowly. Remember, you have 50 minutes. I told you, right? 50 minutes and 60 minutes is exaggeration. You don't need that time, but you can take all that time because you can check, you can double check, right? The idea here is that you have your time to be sure that you have the highest score possible, right? Because here again, the idea is not that we want you to have low scores, right? No, the idea is that you have good scores, and again, you have the time to do it.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. So there you go. No, you're very welcome. With that, then, Danitza, the only one that you're missing, sorry, is the third quiz. Now let's work on the review. Perhaps the review now is only going to be for you to remember and to refresh that knowledge. All right, so I'm going to
Okay.
share my screen now and we practice this together.
Okay.
All right, and
Oh, Jose Luis, could you please, as I mentioned before, refresh my memory about the quiz, the last quiz. Is this the quiz that you mentioned before? That was a quiz.
The quiz that you
Or
were missing, the third quiz, or what are you talking about, Anita?
the final quiz.
The final exam? Yes, that's the only one I was talking about. This one over here.
Okay.
All right, it's part of Model A test. Again, perhaps I told you, right? I will call that's the most negative part about Pearson, that everything is together. And I mentioned that, right? Remember, it's always very easy to mistake the assignments with the quizzes. I told you, right? Some cases in which some students thought that they completed the assignments only, but they had the quizzes and they didn't pay much attention, and the score again was not that good. Then that's why, right, we try to show them one by one where we have to go. Perhaps I didn't see that in detail with you, all right, so it was my fault, but now you have that information, so let's take that into account. In case you believe that you can really improve, I know that you can improve. So what you can do then, is because I know you can have a better score. And if I were you, yes, I would also feel frustrated. I don't like these things also. But please contact management, tell them what happened. It's going to be understandable because it happens, and I'm going to tell them that yes, it's understandable. Tell them that you took the final and you didn't know that it was. All right, be honest, just be honest. And you did it in a, all right, in a short time, so you didn't pay attention, you didn't give the importance to the final that it deserved, because remember, this is going to be well, like 40%, right, of the total. It's for 40%, right? And yes, it can affect the score because you have good scores and it's not good to have it. So tell them, tell them please, if it's possible to reassign it. You're doing pretty good, you have good scores and everything, you're always here with me, right, except for the last one, but again, that's not important. Tell them to reassign, but I need that. All right, they are going to tell me that I'm going to do it, and you can do it again, but that's only if you see that if it's necessary for you, then I'm giving you that option. They are not going to say no. Tell them if you feel and if you have the time to complete one more time the final.
Mhm.
But remember that you also need to complete the third quiz as well. All
Yes.
right. Okay. So I don't know if you actually, the due date, did you pay attention to the due date? Is it until today? Because actually, I believe that you have today, right, to complete the third quiz.
My last, I don't know.
The quiz that is missing. Let me check. All right. And we're going to check now where's your name? Danitza. Here it is. So everything is for July the 19th. Yes. So I'm going to give you some extra time, all right, for that third quiz. And again, if you want, actually, here is your desire only, and it's if you want, and if you have the time for the final once again, you know what you have to do, right? You have to contact management. They are not going to say no. But just in case, I'm going to give you also tomorrow. If you want, you can take it today. There is no problem, of course. But just in case, I'm going to give you one more day for the final quiz. Not the final quiz, sorry, for the third quiz. Okay, this is the one. Yes, so as you can see, this is the only one that you're missing. You see here, right? Zero out
Yes.
of one. Okay, so edit. So instead of today, it will be tomorrow, 11:30. Okay, so you have until tomorrow, 11:30 to finish the quiz. And that's it. I cannot reassign this now. The only thing I can do is move the date, but it was already taken. And I cannot reassign one more time. And that's why I need to wait until the date is done, which is going to be today. So tomorrow I can reassign it once again. And perhaps you will have until the weekend to take this one. But again, it's going to be your decision. But that's it. I don't know if you have any other questions, comments, or requirements to work on the short review.
No, it's good. As you mentioned, I will talk with the management and tell her or him that I need to retake my quiz because it's very low.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it happens. I think they know. I think that the new coordinator is, it's not that new, but it's been here already some 2 3 months. So she understands the logic, and she knows that it happens in this way. All right, so they are going to understand. But let's cover then now the review. Okay, short review. What I'm going to do, mainly what we covered in class, Anita, was the grammar, right? So I'm going to read these three elements for you. I'm going to ask you if you have questions or doubts about it. If not, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, or I'm going to ask you for examples. All right?
Okay.
Just to be sure that is clear. So you have them there. Simple present and present continuous, right? The difference between them, when to use each of them, right? And the formulas that you need to use. I mean, the right structure. Then expressions for suggesting. It means we got to see four, if I'm not wrong, ways to suggest, right? Anything to people in general. And finally, infinitives with to and enough, mainly to and enough. We know, right, that we use these intensifiers or these modifiers for specific situations. So before again asking you the questions or the examples or for the examples myself, let me know, please, do you have any questions, any doubts or comments about this unit? This is the first
No, right now I don't have questions, but that's I um,
Good. Yes, and it's not bad that you don't have questions. Again, what I'm going to do is just confirm that everything is clear. All right. Now, the simple questions here, because we don't need to practice that much here because we practiced this and it was pretty good. So, when do you say, for example, try to explain this with the knowledge that you have? When is it a good idea to say, I study English and I'm studying English, but you cannot explain in that way, you cannot use the idea of now, okay? Because I'm not saying now. So one more time, actually, I'm going to change that. When do you say I study English? And when do you say I study English plus a specific period of time? All right. When is the best decision to use each of them or one of them? And why would you say one or the other? What do you say?
um uh, I think if you want to show that you you're studying English is mm, is when it's because you are like in a in a class and you are coursing um, um, some class in at the university or something like that to express that you are currently I don't know, in a class. I don't know, with studying. And the other study English. Uh, mm, well, this is usually for things that you uh, do usually, or I don't know, um, with a very um, mm, frequently, more frequently, I don't know, be the, I don't know, I'm not sure about the second example. That was I study English. That was the example.
I study. Exactly. Just I study English. It was right. I'm studying English plus a specific period of time, or I study English. In the first case, right, remember, your explanation was good, but remember that I told you you cannot mention the idea of now, because yes, that is correct. when we are doing something at the moment, we can say I'm studying English, right? But if that's not the case, if I'm in a different place, I'm at a party, right? I'm in a party with you, then it's we're dancing. And in that moment, as we're dancing, right, you ask me about my activities. And when do you think that I say the second is good? All right, I'm going to keep that one when it's frequent, when it's a habit, right? When it's something that we do because it's something that is repeated every time, right? A daily activity. So that's simple present, right? I study
Mm.
English. But when do I say I'm studying English? In that party, I'm dancing with you. I'm not in my classes. I'm not at the university. It's not happening now. But I decide to say, yes, yeah, also, yes, I remember I'm studying English. All right. So when do I say that? Why do I say I'm studying English? Because it's correct. But why? Why am I saying that if I'm not at the moment? What is that usage of the present continuous?
um, I that was my idea. No, no, it's because okay, at the moment you are not studying English, but you are. Uh, I mean, this semester you are cursing that class, for example. You're right now to party, but this semester you are cursing your English class, so you can say I am studying English. Could be.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Okay. Yes, if it was that, perhaps it was not clear. I got to understand when you were mentioning the university and think that it's because you are there, like present
Um,
over there. Uh-huh. Not like you are registered or enrolled there and you're not there, right? Physically or in you're not physically there, but you say that you are part of that course, right? So yes, if that was, then I didn't get the first idea and it's correct then. Okay, yes, that's pretty good. And the second one is also good because it's also frequency, but the main difference is that that frequency is longer than just this temporary action of one semester or 1 month, right? Or some months. So yes, that's perfect. Okay, that was a long one, so it's going to be the only one over here. If you again have some questions or comments about that or about one of the other lessons, sorry, let me know. Now,
okay.
I'm going to the second one. In the second one, now here I'm going to ask two different questions. But before again, let me know if you have some. Present perfect as indefinite past, models of advice should, ought to, and remember, had better, and future with will and be going to. So what do you say? Again, this time I'm going to have shorter questions, just two of them, and perhaps examples. But do you have any questions about the unit number two?
No,
All right.
not
So in the first case, just give me, all right, the first I think is going to be just give me two short examples. One using the simple past, using all the elements that you should use for the simple past, and one in the present perfect using all the elements to justify the use of the present perfect. So what do you say? What two examples can you give me with that? Okay,
sorry. Okay.
uh,
Mm, okay. About past to be. Mm, mm, she uh, lived in Brazil. Mm, I don't know. In 1989, and now you know she's here in New York, for example, something like that could be. And the other one, Um, indefinite past. Um, I don't know. I have been travel. I um I have traveled around the world since 2015. I don't know.
Okay, it is good. Just one part is not clear for me. I have traveled. What is the thing that you're saying after traveled?
I have traveled around the world.
Okay, okay. Yes, I've traveled around the world since, and you say the starting period of time. It is good.
Mm.
Good. All right. That's the only thing because that's the thing we have to practice the most. That's the second one. Again, because of the time, we're going to go to the next one, but we have a good time to start. And that was the second unit. The third one. In the third one, we have these elements. We already practiced this, all right? Present perfect and simple past, so we're not going to talk about it. Ability with can, be able to, and could, and possessive pronouns, right? His, hers, theirs, ours, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if you have any questions or comments about them, Danitza.
I I think we don't have enough time, but I don't know if you can share something about possessive pronouns. Well, I was just mm, how can I say this? I was
Mhm.
uh, reading something about possessive pronouns, and I found a lot of combinations that in the I don't know in the slashes uh, there uh, there didn't appear, but I think there are like 6 or 5 kind of possessive pronouns, and that was my the my no, gonna hacer mi consulta.
Okay, look, on Monday, actually, in the Monday's class, I believe
Yep.
this is the lesson. Let me check because it was 2 2. So, yes, it was going to be 2 and 2, but as I had more time to cover, I got to cover this one as well. So, this is part, if I'm not wrong, it is going to be part of Monday's class. See the class? It should be there. All right, I'm explaining possessive pronouns on Monday's class. If it's not there, but again, it's 80% sure that it's there, we also have the presentation. If in that presentation, you're talking about that presentation that you see a lot of elements,
Mhm.
again, not now, because if I share something that is not clear, because I need to understand very well the details that you want to know, it's better to save than this for tomorrow. But before seeing this, not tomorrow, for Friday, okay, we're going to use just a little bit of Friday to talk about possessive pronouns. But before doing so, watch the Monday's class. Okay, remember, I always have 5 extra minutes, right? I'm going to use those 5 extra minutes. Please, the other student also knows she's going to join at 10:05. So I'm going to use this extra time. Check the class, check the presentation. Be sure that your answers are not responded over there. If you have questions after watching the class, it should be at the beginning of the class, plus the presentation and some other details. You give me the specific doubts that you got, and on Friday, the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes are going to be used to talk about possessive pronouns. All right, but it depends if your doubts were not solved with the class. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. Then, if that's your question, then let me use again. I have 4 minutes yet. Give me just 2 examples, please, here. Danitz, I remember the ones were a little bit hard for you in the sense of using the time expression were could and be able to. All right. Give me, please, one example for past ability using could. What example can you give me? Remember, you are reporting something. You are not talking about regretting, right, or changing the past. No, you're reporting something that was an ability for you in the past. So, what example can you give me with could in past?
Mm, I could. mm, mm, um, in the past, I could walk the 15 kilometers um, that you need to, no sé cómo se dice, peregrinar to from uh, plaza principal. ¿Pero se
Okay,
entiende?
okay. One more time. Just the first part also was not clear. One more time, the verb and the object after the verb. I could.
I could walk
Uh-huh.
15, around 15 kilometers.
Uh-huh.
And well, for Copia, right? When you go in a marathon, something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you walk, and well, in the past, uh, I had the ability to do that,
Okay.
but
Okay.
right now I don't have enough energy to do that.
Okay. Yes. Also, you say over there the main square. All right. Sometimes you call the pilgrim. All right. Pilgrim is what you call to the person. Now, to the action of doing that, I don't know if we have the action of that thing in English, all right? You call them again a pilgrim, and a pilgrim is the person that does that action. All right. So
Pilgrim?
again, I'm not sure. Yes, I'm not sure of the. I'm going to send that information. I'm not saying all right, but I think not after the class, after the other class, because I was just reading something about it. All right, I'm going to share that with you. But again, I don't know what the action for that is. I know that you name the person that does the action a pilgrim, but I don't know if the action is going to be derived from that word. I'm going to find out. All right. I'm not sure about that one, Danitza. But you can say, right, I was a pilgrim because I had to walk 15 kilometers from I don't know, from my house to the main square of, I don't know, a place, then going to the church or to the temple, right? To, I don't know, ask for favors. I don't know what, right, you usually do over there, but you can describe that. But it's going to be main square, pilgrim, and again, the action of doing that is something I'm going to find out because I'm not sure. All right, but the example with that one is good. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's one. I just have one more thing actually because of the time. I'm just going to show you the last ones. That is part of Unit 4. And remember here it was tag questions, adjectives and adverbs, and articles. All right. Here, I'm not going to be able to describe everything. But again, what I'm going to ask you then it's in general is the following. Also in the class you're going to watch, you will see these elements. Besides the pronouns, all right, the possessive pronouns, you will see the tag questions and also adjectives and adverbs. My only thing here is please, again, watch the class. If you get to have questions about these elements also, let me know. We covered this here with you, right? There's not much to practice with this. Only remember the rule with the sound and the
Yes.
rule with the categories using that. And with that, I believe that we are clear, right? This is the last lesson that we covered. So I believe that it should be clear. But just in case, right, let me open it once again. I don't know if you have a specific questions, perhaps one little question or one comment before finishing with this and with the class.
Mm, um, I mean, um, more than a question could be like suggestion. What will be your suggestion to improve my vocabulary with adjectives? Adjectives. Yes.
With adjectives, it's look. Working on vocabulary again is working directly on reading or listening. Always, every time. So reading, of course, is easier. Sometimes listening can be harder for some people. Why? Because you don't have the direct reference and you don't have the word over there. You can copy and paste the word and know the meaning, right? So my suggestion is always first read. Read a lot, find the words, the usual, right? As in Spanish. When you are learning new things in Spanish, imagine you're covering a book about a new subject in your major. You have new words that you don't get, so you read, you look for those words, you reread that again, and you're sure that you get it. Okay, so once you read something about one topic, but only do that about one topic, one specific topic. After reading that and finding the words, the specific words for that topic, you have to look for podcasts or for YouTube, right? You have close to podcast on YouTube, right? These conversations that they have over there. And it's a good idea to go there sometimes because if you look for famous YouTube channels, they are going to have subtitles or captions, right? First, watch that without the captions about the topic that you read. If you read about economics, look for basic talk or podcast, right? Basics of economics, right? In podcast, and you're going to find a conversation. Only listen to that, and you're going to recognize words that you know. All right. But over there, not only for nouns. If you want to work adjectives, there are going to be adjectives over there. So actually, it's the same exercise to finish, Danitza. Is the same exercise that you can do for learning nouns, for learning adjectives, for learning adverbs, for learning whatever you want. It's the same exercise. It's just the thing that you pay attention to. In the same reading, if you want to practice adjectives, pay attention to the new adjectives. There are always going to be new adjectives over there. If you want to learn nouns, do the same, but mark the nouns and look for the meaning of those nouns. If you want to look for verbs, the same, and so on and so forth, right? Because the other way is just looking for list of adjectives, and it's organizing the list of adjectives that you got according to your priorities, the things that you need, that you know that you use a lot, and create your own list of common use adjectives or adverbs or whatever you want and start memorizing. Okay, that's always the second a possibility, or it can be the first possibility for you. All right. So once again, reading, then listening, and the third one can be reading and listening. They are together, and the third one that is separate, or it can be also combined, is the list of words. All right. That's my main recommendation over there. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
No,
I
you're
have
welcome.
a list
Uh-huh.
that I mean it is from Cambridge, but the list have to four columns: nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. But I just can't memorize, and I mean I know something, but no, not all of the combinations are possible.
Exactly. Then it's better that you listen to that in real life conversations. That's always more effective than reading the words separate by themselves, right? That's why my recommendation of the list is the last recommendation because it works, but not everyone can memorize list of words, right? So if it's your case, then do what I'm telling you. Read
Mhm.
all those words in context, then listen to those words, memorize the pronunciation around other words. And in that way, the memory is better because your memory is not only going to be about that word, your memory is going to relate that word to other words around it, again, that are related to that topic. And it's going to be better because it's going to be very likely that you're going to remember those adjectives when you read other words, right? Because you
Okay.
connect the ideas and it's better. Okay.
Okay.
All right, apply that, please. You're letting me know how it goes. I'm sharing the link for today. I'm sharing two different links once again, please, Anita, because this is our last class for this course. This is the first one for today's class, and then one more that is again very short for the last class that is also today. That is this one. Okay, here you evaluate me. You finish with that? That's it again. Thanks for being in today's class. Remember to work on the third quiz. Also, if you want to take the final again, contact management. And on Friday, we will start a new course. All right. So I hope you have a good night. Take care, and I'll see you on Friday, Danitza.
See you Friday. Thank
Bye
you.
bye. You're welcome.
Bye bye.